Oh, Takizawa, if only this was Naruto universe, you will be forgiven. It's been a long time since we last have a new chapter. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but it just feels such a long time. And finally, we have chapter 89, continuing off with Takizawa interrupting the fight and actually going to do something good. So that's something that I didn't see it coming, and I kind of like how the way this direction went with this chapter, as well as why did the whole Takizawa eliminating the entire CCG force even happen to the point that we see him choking Akira. I thought this was handled really well. I could see people could be a little bit upset if you were too anticipated to the point that you would think you would have like a shonen battle manga style, as to say it will last over 3 chapters or even 3 chapters itself. But I think it lasts well enough, especially when the kind of story that we're going to head into something more thrilling and more exciting. And that's what Tokyo Ghoul has always been, is more focused on the thrill ride and the story. And the battle, I'm not saying the battle it can be ignored, but it's not the main focal point of the series. Nonetheless, this was a great chapter on how it presented itself with this character and the magnitude of the event that's taking place between Takizawa and the entire forces of CCG. Despite the fact the fight did shift over to Tadara versus Takizawa, I thought the way how his display was pretty impressive. It is sad to see Tadara actually die by the hand of Takizawa rather than by Hoji. You would think it would be a parallel way. You go back to the last chapter, it felt like the conclusion was right there, and Takizawa ends up being the guy that takes every glory. But it's funny how it works, because it feels like everything got resolved in terms of grudges, and that even includes Takizawa. In this chapter, I find it impressive how Takizawa actually waited so long to get revenge. So instead of like being bought in all because he got the one-eyed ghoul, in order to take him out and pretty much end Ogiri Tree once and for all, even though nobody knows that Dr. Kanui is still lurking around unless he just died for no reason. I like the fact that they kept the direction of Takizawa actually waited for the moment to have his revenge. He did it with something that actually fits to his character, and that is to take the glory. What I like about how he takes the glory is he waited for the moment of all the CCG, including Hoji, his former partner, to show up and have this moment so he could show them that he's impressive, he's a great guy, and he is strong enough to take out anyone. He's arrogant, he is selfish. When it comes to power, he feels like he's in the top of the world, and it shows from various chapters before this one. I really hate him more in some way. I know there's moments to feel sorry in terms of like what he has to go through in order to be this, especially with the small subtle hints that he probably has killed his family. Still, the way how he has come out about is really upsetting me at some cases. The fight between these two are actually impressive. I know it was short, but it's actually pretty cool, and to see how he has countered the flame, he actually has the power to take out Tadara. I guess you could say that one-eyed ghoul really benefit him a lot, especially it comes from the one-eyed owl. Tadara is actually very sentimental, and now it finally occurred to me, even though I kind of knew beforehand, it finally occurred to me very clearly on how much this guy is very loyal. And it's what's shocking was the last words that it has to do with the king, and I actually kind of forgot about this because it's such a long time, but I remember him recalling him making way for the king, and I don't even know if Takizawa even saw that. But then again, I think that was around the time he already got unconscious. What's intriguing to me was how seeing Arima just dragging Kanaki like nothing as Tadara bowed down to the king. If you do not know if Arima is the one-eyed king, this is the proof right there. That shows how Tadara is very loyal to his masters, including Eto. At the end of the battle, the one that came off the less evil was really Tadara. And yes, I know Hoji couldn't be included in one, but between Takizawa and Tadara, I see Tadara more understandable to feel sorry than Takizawa, as Takizawa has continuously shown the arrogant, the selfish. The art in this chapter is not the best, but the way how to portray the reactions and the magnitude of the event was really strong, especially the point where Takizawa was telling everybody that he has killed the leader and now everybody can rejoice and have a fun time as a party like it's no big deal. But then the reaction with Hoji Hoji was so strong to understand that Takizawa can never be forgiven because he is a ghoul that has killed human. Now, at least Almond, I'm not sure what's his situation, but I can see people understand Almond a little bit better because Almond is more sane and more reasonable, at least the time being, because we have not seen him kill a human. We have not seen, doing any real bad deeds, but Takizawa has already done everything. He's a guy that feels like everything can be brushed aside so long he does the right thing, all because he done one job. It fits the character, it fits the magnitude of the entire event. They finally show you where Takizawa is coming from, and it's pretty clear on that. So we don't get to see how he massacred everybody. The point of how it led to that moment was interesting. You would think that Takizawa ends up killing them because he's that crazy, but instead it led to his insanity after CCG rejected him and classified him as the enemy. That part was actually something different, and it's actually pretty upsetting because it felt like Takizawa could have actually gone back to the CCG if CCG was more acceptable. However, the bad deeds always come back, and whenever you done bad deeds beforehand, it's always going to be remembered. So pretty much it's a mixed feeling with Takizawa, and I'm still at the point of I'm hoping him to get killed, especially by the end of the chapter. As predictable the end of the chapter was, especially how it all set up, there's nothing wrong with it, and I still find it very excited to see what's coming up next. It's long overdue, and I wanted to see Almond and Takizawa interaction, especially when they become a one-eye ghoul, and now seeing Akira and Almond re-interacted is going to be very interesting because it's something that Akira is going to see his former love in a ghoul state, which is his family is found to hate. So imagine now to see him as a ghoul, how she's going to react, how she's going to be feeling about this whole thing. Now, there's one thing I have to comment, and it's Tadara. As loyal to he was actually loyal to the whole king. They only asked me myself a question: who's going to be the final boss of the series? I really thought it was going to be Arima until he died. So now I'm questioning myself who's going to be the final boss, and it could be Washu, the older guy. It could be anybody for we unexpected. But I always thought Arima was going to be the final boss, and I do hope in one way it will have a connection for us to be invested and not something like a random boss fight, something that's out of the blue that has zero connection to the main character. I'm a little bit iffy on that, but that's something too soon to call on. This chapter was pretty damn great because of the entire battle scene. I know it's short and I know it takes away from Hoji versus Tadara, but that fight was really impressive from the last chapter. This chapter is about Takizawa going against Tadara. Takizawa believes that he will get all the credit and be celebrated as the savior, but that's not the case. And it really has that emotional mixed feeling with Tadara seeing how loyal he is. Now he has died. Takizawa believing that he could get everything back to normal just by stealing the credit. It's arrogant, it's selfish. At the same time, it's really hard to say, like, can he really be a guy that you kind of feel sorry just because he's trying to take everything in his hand and trying to get everything right back to normal? But the path he has chosen really makes everything hard to go back on. In the end, chapter 89 gets a 9. I know a lot of people would be so disappointed to not to see the conclusion or the longer battle, but I thought this length was actually pretty good for Tokyo Ghoul. Again, it is different from a lot of different battle manga. The point is, it's just not going to be that kind of direction, but it actually has a lot of great design in terms of showcasing the emotional expression, as well as to show those small sentimental wordings from Tadara, talking about the king, his final words, and saying farewell to Eto. It just felt like it was a really great chapter of showcasing emotion and just trying to understand where position the audience should be, like seeing if feel sorry or feel like you want to see this person to get killed because the misery he's in is really gotten far too long, just to the point that you have to end him so he could find peace. My thoughts are told. Don't let yours on hold. Leave a comment below. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.